I just got another 5 books in from CGC. First really submission I've received back in 2023. So let's dive right in and see if we can get this year off to a great start. Okay, so I got them unboxed and I was just looking at my notes, and for these 5 books there is actually an outside chance that I could get a 9.8 on every single one of these books. I listed a 9.8 as a possibility on all of them, but really one. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it possibly could get that 9.8. So let's just leave that one for last. Let's go ahead and get through the ones that I think are almost, not guaranteed, but I say 75% chance or better of getting that 9.8. Of course, grading is subjective. We'll go through each of these. I've featured this one a few times. Just a big fan of Indiana Jones. Who isn't, that grew up in the 80s? So this one is Further Adventures #1. And, you know, just a classic cover. So in Indiana Jones with the whip, right? This one I didn't put any notes on beyond the fact that I paid about 18 bucks for it, and I thought it was a 9.8. It was a 9.4-ish before I cleaned and pressed it, and I think it has a very solid chance of a 9.8. Now, I have not gotten the 9.8 on this book yet. I've gotten a couple 9.6s. I've been trying to get the 9.8. So let's see if we can finally do it on this book. Okay, first one, 9.8, finally. And I've bought so many, like, near perfect copies of this book and been a little bit disappointed on them so far, but this is definitely one of my nicer copies, if not the nicest that I found. It's just gorgeous. I mean, this is perfect all the way around. You cannot find probably a better copy, and it's almost a perfect cut, and you know, fits the eye very well. No flaws on it that I wrote any notes on. So perfect spine, perfect corners. I mean, if you're going to own a copy or a 9.8 copy, this is one of the higher end 9.8s that you'll find out there. So very, very, very happy about that. So the next one we have is one I probably have 15 or 20 copies of overall, but very few 9.8s. So I've been trying to get as many 9.8s of this as I can, just because I think it's a good investment. Anything McFarlane, and this is McFarlane's last work on Amazing Spider-Man, so I think it will continue to gain value, you know, over the years. Of course, everything's dropped in the last year or so. But, you know, it still has quite a bit of value, and you could still get this book for fairly cheaply. Now, I did notice recently the values are starting to come up on the raw books, so I've kind of stopped buying this book now, but I have so many copies that I don't need anymore, right? And I already have a 9.8, yada yada, right? So I'm fine on this book. But I paid, probably overpaid on this book. I normally don't pay $50 for this book. I don't know why I paid that much. Maybe that's a typo on my sheet. I normally don't pay that much, but maybe it just looked completely perfect, and I thought, okay, I do have notes on it. It says, one of the most perfect books I've ever seen, period, of all books. That's why I paid that price. So this thing is a 9.85. It is the best looking copy of this book that I've ever seen, of this book, and probably one of the top 20 of all of the books in my collection. So this is a 9.8. So if it's not a 9.8 according to them, I will be resubmitting this one, because this is a 9.8. Okay, so we got the 9.8, and why can't we just get the 9.9 if it's the most perfect copy? But yeah, there is a slight little miswrap on it, so I don't think you can get a 9.9 with that. But other than that, man, this is just crazy how nice this book is. I mean, it's just nuts how nice this book is. It's got that common production flaw right there as well. Little piece missing on the bottom, but that's on probably more than half of the copies you'll see out there. So yeah, very, very happy to get this 9.8 copy, investment copy of this book. And so the next one is another McFarlane, and I've also featured this book quite a few times on this channel because I'm trying to get 9.8 copies of this. I think I have 2 now. And so this would be the 3rd if I were able to get the 9.8. So there's one negligible defect that I could not fix to the lower right of the spine. Somewhere, I believe it was right here, but I'll look here in a second. Other than that, it's a 1 defect book. That's it. No other defects on the entire book. It is just one of these just crazy perfect books that you'll see out there. It's hard to find books with only 1 defect, and this is one of them. So we're fully expecting the 9.8. Okay, 3 for 3, that's good, but not unexpected. So yeah, I'm looking for that defect. I can't find it. I have no idea. Where is it? Somewhere there? Maybe it was back spine. No, I don't see anything there either. I'll just take my own word for it, and there's got to be a defect here, but I guess it doesn't matter. But if I can't see it, getting it at all angles, it's effectively not there anyway. Maybe it just disappears on the slab kind of because of the reflection, but yeah, you're not going to find, it's going to be hard to find a better 9.8 than any of these three books, actually. So yeah, this one is the first Todd McFarlane published cover. You know, that's what's big about that, and I think I have 3 copies now. So this is definitely a good investment. I mean, it's an awesome cover too. So pick that one up if you haven't already, if you're a McFarlane fan, and do it before the prices go way up, because I paid $25 for that copy, and it was a 9.8 when it came in, and just had to do a little bit of work on it, cleaning and pressing. And for $25, I got this book that's worth quite a bit more than that, now at a 9.8. So this is a classic one. This one's dropped quite a bit, but it's still a great cover, and I still pick it up whenever I see it for a really good price. So I got this one for $39. I probably overpaid slightly because I think I can get nice ultra high grade copies for this for 25 or so, maybe less. But it's okay. So I was fully expecting this to be a 9.8. It came in, I thought it was a 9.4, but I thought it was all repairable defects. And it's just pretty good wrap. You know, I have seen miswraps on this book, and just pretty flawless. It's just like the other 3 that we've done already. I'm fully expecting that this should be 100 times, or 99 out of 100 times, this should be a 9.8. So let's see if CGC agrees. Okay, 4 for 4. We have never, I don't think we've ever done a full submission of 5 books or more that were all 9.8s. But yeah, great looking book. Pretty flawless spine. I can't see anything on it. Wow, that is a cool cover and a very nice copy of that book. Last one. Now this is the one I would be tickled if I were to get a 9.8 on this, because it's the newsstand version of Conan number 241. So I have a 9.8 copy direct of Conan right here, and I was thrilled. I don't know, I might have cried when I got that one. But anyway, that was a 9.8 that I did not anticipate getting. But if I got it in a newsstand, man, that would just be unbelievable. But I'm not getting my hopes up, because I paid about $50 for this. And I thought it was a 9.4 when I got it, and I think it could be a 9.4 to a 9.6. But as far as newsstands go, it is, I don't even know. It's so hard to find. I mean, I've been looking and looking. I've looked for 2 years for this book, a newsstand, an ultra high grade, and it is hard. Now, something about this book. There is a slight waviness through the entire book on just about every copy I get of this. So I don't think that counts against me. When I'm pressing it, I don't add a bunch of moisture trying to get rid of that waviness. I think if a book comes in production with a defect, if you want to call it that, I don't even call that a defect. You get modern books now that coming out that have that slight waviness. I don't even consider that a defect. I just think it's part of the book. It came from production that way. It doesn't detract from reading it or the way it looks, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments if you disagree with that. So I don't try to take that out of books. I just don't do it. So when I press it, sometimes it reverts back, and I'm not worried about it. As long as it's not excessive, and as long as I'm not adding to that waviness. But looking at this book, I do see it there. It's definitely there. But I just wanted to point that out as something I don't really sweat. And graders shouldn't sweat that as well, because that should be something that's allowable in 9.8. But anyway, so whether or not the grader counts against that, I don't know. I don't know whether that's an opinion thing or that's just an established thing with CGC, whether they do or don't count that against the grade on a book. But I just wanted to point that out, because that might be the one area. Okay, there is a small spine tick here and a small spine tick here. Right here, there's 2. And that's probably why I was thinking 9.6 cap. And they are tiny, the tiniest little color breaks. And I have to angle it like that. So I call those negligible, but they are on the spine, and that's, I mean, they kind of kill you on those normally. But other than that, this is a tremendous copy, and very, very rare and hard to find. If you try looking for this, you understand how difficult it is. So I don't want to go on all day about this book. And classic McFarlane. And so I went through a whole period where I was buying a lot of McFarlane. So you might be noticing that through the last few submissions. I just wanted to complete my McFarlane collection, get as many 9.8s as I can while the prices are still reasonable, yada, you know. So, you know, I'm going to move on from that. There's other books I'm targeting as well. It's not, I do love McFarlane, but it's not the only thing. It's just, he is a big part of my collection now. And I've always just loved his art because when I was a kid, I had a subscription, Amazing Spider-Man, and at that time, it was when 298, 299, 300, 301, all the way up to 316, I received in the mail over a couple-year period. So those books just happen to be near and dear to my heart because I received those books as childhood copies in the mail. So that's when I was first exposed to McFarlane's artwork, and I just fell in love with it. I know a lot of other people did as well. So newsstand copy, Conan 241, classic cover, hoping for the 9.4 to 9.6. I don't know what to say. That makes me happy. You have no idea how much that makes me happy. To have these two copies now, both a direct and a newsstand 9.8 of this book, is just, words can't even describe how happy that makes me. So this is a forever book for me. Both of these are. I will never get rid of those two copies. Kind of a dream of mine is to get newsstand and direct to pretty much all of my favorite books, which is maybe 60 in the world that I plan to keep as forever books. And this is one of them. And so the perfect 9.8 submission, first time it's ever happened, maybe the last time, we don't know, right? So we'll enjoy this while we can. So this is a great way to start 2023, and I'm still recovering slightly from a cold, so I'm a little bit dopey at the moment, but don't let that make you think I'm not how excited I am about this book, because you just have no idea. Well, maybe you do. You guys watching this channel obviously understand. So how cool that is. But it says newsstand, got the newsstand. So yeah, perfect submission. I guess it would have been, I guess perfect is all 10s, but for the purposes of collecting comic books, 9.8 is about as good as it gets. And there you go. How's that? Is that awesome or what? So yeah, thank you for tuning in, watching this, and Happy New Year again to everybody. And hopefully we have you as well, both you and I, have all perfect submissions in 2023. So we'll see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching.